Am I the bad guy for wearing the watch my ex gave me? I want to share a story that has been weighing on my mind lately, and it revolves around a watch that my ex-girlfriend gifted me. This all started back on my 25th birthday, when she surprised me with a beautiful timepiece. Now, let me give you some context. At the time, she was doing quite well in her career, earning a substantial salary along with a living allowance that covered most of her expenses. With all that disposable income, she decided to splurge a little and bought me this watch, which, while not a luxury brand, was certainly a step up from my usual collection of inexpensive timepieces. Fast forward a year and a half, and life took a turn. My girlfriend's job relocated her to a different city, and we found ourselves struggling to maintain our relationship. Eventually, we broke up, but it was amicable. She did ask for the watch back, but I felt it was a gift and declined. I thought that was the end of it, but little did I know, the watch would become a point of contention in my current relationship. Now, I've been dating my current girlfriend for just over a year. She's wonderful, but there's a bit of a hiccup when it comes to that watch. I don't wear it often, just on special occasions, but she's expressed her discomfort with it. Last weekend, we celebrated our first anniversary at a nice restaurant, and I decided to wear the watch. I thought it was appropriate since we were dressing up. However, as soon as we sat down, she noticed it and immediately questioned my choice. I was taken aback. I mean, why wouldn't I wear my nicest watch for a special occasion? But she felt it was disrespectful to wear something that had been a gift from my ex while we were celebrating our relationship. I tried to explain that the watch held no emotional significance for me. It was just a nice piece of jewelry that I wouldn't have been able to afford otherwise. In an attempt to ease the tension, I took it off and tucked it away, hoping to salvage the evening. Unfortunately, it didn't work. She was quiet for the rest of the night, and the drive home was filled with an uncomfortable silence. The next day, I asked her why the watch bothered her so much. She simply said she didn't want to discuss it anymore and went back to scrolling on her phone. I could sense that while she had moved on from the incident, the underlying issue remained. I felt like I was now restricted from wearing my watch whenever we went out together. To add some context, my girlfriend has always had insecurities about my past relationship. Even though my breakup with my ex was amicable, she has expressed her dislike for her. When we first started dating, she even asked to see my messages with my ex to ensure there was nothing still lingering between us. I complied, wanting to reassure her, but now it feels like those insecurities are creeping into our relationship in a way that makes me uncomfortable. I've considered selling the watch to avoid further conflict, but that feels like I would be giving in to her insecurities. Plus, I genuinely like the design of the watch, and I'm not sure I'd pick out something better if I tried to replace it. I've also thought about just putting it away in a box, but that feels like a defeat. As I reflect on this situation, I can't help but wonder if I'm in the wrong for wanting to keep a gift that, while given by an ex, doesn't hold any emotional weight for me. I've tried to be understanding of my girlfriend's feelings and have made accommodations. But I also believe that we need to find a balance where both of us can feel secure in our relationship. I'm left pondering whether I should keep the watch, sell it, or simply hide it away, all while trying to navigate the complexities of love and past relationships. I found myself in a bit of a dilemma recently, one that revolved around a watch my ex-partner had gifted me. At first glance, it seemed like a trivial issue, but as I dug deeper, it became clear that it was tied to some deeper insecurities in my current relationship. The watch in question is an Omega Railmaster, a luxury piece that I never would have splurged on myself. It was a thoughtful gift from my ex, and while we had moved on as friends after our breakup, I never thought much about the watch's significance beyond its craftsmanship and style. I loved wearing it, not because it was a reminder of my past, but simply because it was a beautiful accessory. However, my current partner had a different perspective. Initially, she had suggested that I sell the watch for some extra cash, framing it as a financial decision, rather than expressing any discomfort with its presence. I assumed she wasn't a fan of the watch because of its price tag, which was understandable given that I make under $55,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck. I figured she might feel a bit insecure about the disparity in our financial situations, but I never imagined it would escalate into something more significant. Things took a turn when I wore the watch on our anniversary. My partner's reaction was unexpected. She was visibly upset, and I couldn't understand why a simple accessory could ruin such a special occasion. After some back and forth, it became clear that her feelings were rooted in insecurity. She expressed that by wearing the watch, I was somehow holding on to my ex and that it represented a part of my past that she wasn't comfortable with. I tried to reassure her that the watch held no sentimental value for me. To me, it was just a nice piece of jewelry, devoid of any emotional ties. But no matter how much I explained, it seemed like she was searching for a deeper meaning where there was none. This led to a conversation about boundaries and trust in our relationship. I wanted to understand her feelings better, so I reached out to a family friend who used to own a jewelry shop to get an idea of the watch's value. I learned that I could potentially sell it for a significant amount, which made me consider whether that might be the best solution. After work one Friday, I decided to sit down with my partner and discuss the situation. I wanted to make amends for the upset I had caused on our anniversary and see if we could find a compromise. I suggested that I could keep the watch but not wear it on dates, hoping this would ease her discomfort. However, she insisted that she would prefer it not to be in our apartment at all. When I asked her why, she explained that she felt like the watch was a constant reminder of my ex, and even if it was tucked away, it still represented a connection to my past that she couldn't shake off. I listened carefully, trying to empathize with her feelings, but I couldn't help but feel frustrated. I had never intended for the watch to symbolize anything other than its aesthetic appeal. As we continued to talk, I realized that this wasn't just about the watch. It was about trust, boundaries, and the emotional baggage we all carry from previous relationships. I understood her insecurities, but I also felt it was important for her to recognize that my past didn't diminish my commitment to her. In the end, I had to make a decision. I valued our relationship and wanted to find a way to move forward without resentment. It was a tough conversation, but it opened the door for us to discuss our feelings more openly. I knew that navigating these emotional waters wouldn't be easy, but I hoped that with time, we could build a stronger foundation based on trust and understanding. So, what do you think? Was I in the wrong for wearing the watch, or was it simply a matter of my partner needing to work through her insecurities? Either way, it's a reminder that sometimes even the smallest things can reveal deeper issues in a relationship. I found myself in quite a predicament recently, all because of a watch my ex-girlfriend gave me. It was a beautiful piece, a reminder of a time that was both cherished and complicated. When I started dating my current girlfriend, I thought we had built a solid foundation of trust. But then, things took a turn that I never saw coming. My girlfriend expressed her discomfort with me keeping the watch. She accused me of still having feelings for my ex, insisting that the watch was a symbol of my unresolved emotions. She believed that if I truly loved her, I would have gotten rid of it without her asking. This accusation caught me off guard. I had moved on from my past relationship, and I thought I had made that clear. I had even turned down my ex's offer to get back together just 6 months after our breakup. At that time, I felt it was best for both of us to remain friends, and I was genuinely happy with my decision. My ex had reached out during a tough time in her life. She had been laid off and asked if I wanted to rekindle our romance. I said no, firmly believing that we were better off as friends. Along with that, she also asked for the watch back, claiming she needed to sell it to cover her bills. I knew she had a substantial savings account and reassured her that she didn't need the money from the watch. I wanted to support her, but I also felt that the watch held sentimental value that I wasn't ready to part with. Fast forward to my current relationship, and the conversation about the watch spiraled into something much larger. My girlfriend wanted to see my phone, which surprised me. I understood her need for reassurance when we first started dating, but I thought we had moved past that stage. When I asked if she thought I was cheating, she hesitated, saying she just didn't know. It was at that moment that I realized her insecurities were taking over our relationship. As the discussion escalated, I felt the tension rise. My girlfriend accused me of wanting to go back to my ex, and I knew I couldn't be with someone who didn't trust me. I decided to end the relationship. She became angry, insisting that I was just looking for an excuse to leave. In an attempt to prove my loyalty, I handed over my phone, allowing her to search for anything she thought might indicate I was still in contact with my ex. But even then, she accused me of deleting messages to cover my tracks. It was clear that no matter what I said or did, she wouldn't believe I was truly over my past. After that, I packed my bags and left to stay with my sister, telling her I would be back on Sunday. I made it clear that she needed to move out by then, unless she wanted to take over the lease on her own. I haven't heard from her since, and I'm left feeling disappointed about how things turned out. It's frustrating to think that a beautiful watch could lead to such a dramatic end to a relationship. Reflecting on everything, I realized that my ex-girlfriend was dealing with her own insecurities, and perhaps she needed to mature a bit more before entering a serious relationship. I've also received a lot of feedback, suggesting I should have lied about the watch's origin, but that's not something I would ever consider. Honesty is important to me, and I won't compromise that for anyone. In the end, I'm left with a watch that holds memories of my past, but I'm also hopeful for the future. I've learned that trust is essential in any relationship, and I'm determined to find someone who values that as much as I do. Let me tell you about a little situation I found myself in recently, all thanks to a watch. Now, I'm not talking about just any watch. I'm talking about a stunning Omega that my ex-husband gifted me over 20 years ago. It was a special moment, just before our first child was born, and I've cherished that watch ever since. It's not just a timepiece. It holds memories and represents a significant chapter of my life. So here I am, wearing this beautiful watch, and it's become a part of my daily life. I love it for its craftsmanship and the memories it carries. But here's where things got a bit interesting. The other day, someone noticed my watch and asked me where I got it. Now, I could have easily said, "Oh, it was a gift from my ex-husband," but honestly, that felt a bit unnecessary. I mean, who really goes around broadcasting the backstory of their accessories? I thought about it for a moment and decided to keep it simple. I just said, "It was a gift." I figured that was enough. But then I started to wonder if I should have shared more. Was I being secretive? Was it wrong to wear something my ex gave me? I mean, it's just a watch, right? As I reflected on it, I realized that I wear this watch not as a reminder of my past relationship, but because I appreciate its quality and the memories attached to it. It's a good watch, plain and simple. I don't feel the need to explain its origins to everyone who asks. In fact, it kind of feels tacky to me to have to justify why I'm wearing something I love. So I'm curious, am I in the wrong for wearing this watch and not diving into its backstory? Should I be more open about where it came from? Or is it perfectly fine to enjoy it without all the details? It's a little piece of my history, and I'm proud to wear it. But I also don't want to come off as someone who's clinging to the past. In the end, I decided that it's just a watch, and I'm going to keep wearing it proudly. After all, it's a reminder of a time in my life that shaped who I am today, and I think that's worth celebrating, even if it raises a few eyebrows along the way.